Federal judges and our rule of law are under attack, led by Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And federal judges are starting to fear for their life, and also wonder if the Marshal Service, which is under the Department of Justice and Donald Trump, is really doing everything they can to protect them. We've even had a recent example of Amy Coney Barrett, who is a right-wing Federalist Society Supreme Court justice appointed by Donald Trump. Her own sister received a bomb threat when MAGA didn't like Amy Coney Barrett siding with Chief Justice Roberts against Donald Trump about U.S. aid. I'm Michael Popok. Let's try to preserve, protect our rule of law here on Legal AF. Elon Musk has amped up his attacks. He's a proxy, of course, for Donald Trump against the judiciary. There are at least 12 different lawsuits involving Elon Musk. There were 5 losses related to Elon Musk in courts in the last 48 hours alone. Just to give us a little bit of a scorecard, we've got the case that came down against we have the case involving Judge Chutkan, in which she ruled that Elon Musk must give sworn statements under oath about his role in cutting federal workers and cutting federal funding. We have a Judge Cooper decision last week as well, finding that the DOGE department is an agency or quasi-agency of the government and must make its records available to the public under a Freedom of Information Act request. We've got 2 rulings from Thursday. We've got Judge Alsop in California, who in ruling that Donald Trump's administration needed to rehire probationary employees, he also said it was a sad day in American history when the government comes into his courtroom and lies about the reason they fired employees. And then hours later, Judge Breddar, in Maryland, ruled against also the DOGE and Elon Musk, ordering them to rehire about 25,000 probationary employees by Monday at 1 o'clock. Elon Musk, much like his fearless cult leader, Donald Trump, went into a rage on social media, started calling for the impeachment of these federal judges. Let me put this in context. In 200 years or more of our illustrious history as a constitutional republic, 15 judges in total in 200 years have been impeached, mainly because of bribery and corruption. But every time they get a decision they do not like, the Trump administration and Musk, right on cue, violently attack them on social media, which leads to actual attempted attacks on the judiciary or more in response. That's why federal judges have told reporters off the record that they fear for their lives when they rule against Donald Trump. That will end up compromising their independent judgment, which is the foundation of our rule of law. If they have to worry and they're gun shy, no pun intended, about ruling against Donald Trump for fear of attack, then we have lost it. Look, I recently commented that Judge H.O. in New York, not to be confused with the one in Texas, he made a ruling recently to appoint a right-wing MAGA former Solicitor General as his advisor on the issue of whether Mayor Adams of New York's indictment should be dismissed or not. And I really thought that was more of an obey. He barely got through the confirmation process a year ago. He's a self-professed liberal, and I don't think he wanted to take on the impeachment fight. And I think we're already seeing some results, is my opinion, some results of what Donald Trump's trying to do by bashing the judiciary, bashing the rule of law, bashing constitutional precedent, and bashing law firms. What is Donald Trump doing? He's trying to dismantle all guardrails to protect the American public from him. We saw it when he was a candidate Trump, when he was criminal defendant Trump, when he was criminally convicted Trump. Of course, we're seeing it now as the president. I mean, a chill went down my spine when he got up at the Department of Justice at a press conference that was supposed to be about fentanyl. And it became it became a rager. It was just a rager about retaliation that he was about to employ, going after judges, going after lawyers. We have a clip right here. This is Donald Trump just in the last 24 hours.
And Aim will know this very well. We had an amazing judge in Florida, and her name is Eileen Cannon. And I didn't know her. I still don't know her. I don't believe I ever spoke to her, even during the trial. But I did appoint her, federal judge. And these fake lawyers, these horrible human beings, were hitting her so hard, public relations wise. They were playing the ref. I don't think it's legal. I don't think it's legal. They might as well go out and just shout it in a courthouse. They were saying she was slow. She wasn't smart. She was totally biased. She loved Trump. I didn't know her other than I saw her the couple of days that I was in court, and I thought her decorum was amazing.
So reasonable people are questioning, how do we protect the federal judiciary? And then they're not even united on how to protect themselves. I just reported on James Ho, a right-wing judge in Texas or Louisiana, resigning from the Federal Judges Association because he doesn't like the fact that they called for these attacks to stop. There have been 5 judges, federal judges killed, and 1 state court judge in the last 10 years. 5 judges have been killed in the last 10 years. Okay. This is a real threat. And who's responsible for their protection? As Eric Swalwell just said out loud, the Federal Marshal Service. And who's the Federal Marshal Service report to? The Department of Justice, meaning Donald Trump. When Donald Trump declares that he is the chief legal officer, chief law enforcement officer of our nation, that should give everybody pause. Talk about the jailed now being the jailer and going after the jailers. That's where we're at right now. We saw it right from the very beginning. When a judge in Engelmeyer in New York, way back when, it seems so long ago, it's only a month and a half ago, ruled against the Trump administration and against DOGE and stopped DOGE from rummaging around in the Treasury Department and the Fiscal Service Bureau servers, getting our confidential medical and financial records. And it was stopped by a senior judge, Engelmeyer, right on cue. People, MAGA Congress supporting Trump came out and said, the judge is corrupt. What makes him corrupt? Not liking his analysis, his jurisprudential analysis of how he applied the law. You can debate that. That's why God invented appellate courts and the United States Supreme Court. But how do you call him corrupt? And that's Musk said it right on cue. Every time he gets an order, Judge Chutkin, Judge Alsop, Judge Bredar, Judge Cooper, right on cue. Elon Musk, all of them are corrupt. Absolutely the worst. They need to be removed through the impeachment process. That's not what they want to do. What they want to do is intimidate the crap out of judges so they don't rule against Donald Trump, or they're gun shy about it. You don't think Amy Coney Barrett is thinking about her sister and a bomb threat next time she rules? I do. She's a human being, isn't she? She may be protected. She may have armed marshals escorting her to and from her house, but her sister's not. But this is by design. This is not by accident. This is the Heritage Foundation. This is Project 2025. Take the judiciary down a notch. Divide and conquer the judiciary so that the unitary president, the Leviathan, the dictator in chief, can rise above that branch of government. Make people file 50 lawsuits in 50 different states and federal districts in order to get relief, not one judge issuing a national injunction. Destroy the unified judiciary as a counterweight and a counterbalance to the unified president model. That's what we're watching. And it's freaking people out. You got people like Judge Ludig, who's a Republican, Heritage Foundation founder, Federalist Society founder. He's coming out and saying these attacks on law firms is completely against the rule of law. I'm a lawyer, as people know. We, by our code, by our oath, we swear an oath to the Constitution. We swear an oath to be proper judicial officers and to uphold the rule of law and have candor and don't lie to the courts and don't lie to our adversaries and bring merit-based cases only. We have that obligation, and to take unpopular positions as long as they're within a reasonable argument about the law and the facts. I already took that oath. I already defend that oath on a daily basis. And sometimes I'll take a client that somebody will think will be unpopular. We have people on this network that have taken clients that some people think are unpopular. And that's okay. That's our adversarial system where everybody's entitled to representation. because you're normally up against this giant entity called the United States of America with informational asymmetry and resource asymmetry, and you need to be able to defend them the best way that you can. Donald Trump doesn't like lawyers representing parties against him. He doesn't like the fact that when he was scrambling around trying to find criminal defense lawyers, no big law firm, no legitimate law firm wanted anything to do with him. That's why he was stuck with a bunch of solo practitioners who are now all in our federal government as in the Department of Justice. They were pressing their nose up against it. They would never be able to get into top plum federal jobs. The number 1, number 2, number 3 job in the federal government, the Department of Justice, for these losers that were representing Donald Trump? No way. But now we have them all. Todd Blanche, the number 2 member of the Department of Justice, running the day-to-day operations as the chief operating officer. His lackey, Emile Bove, he's in as the number 3 lawyer in the Department of Justice. You know, the Solicitor General, another of Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyers, and the Attorney General, who's a meat puppet. Donald Trump's already declared himself to be the chief law enforcement officer in the land, not his own Department of Justice head. She's a former impeachment lawyer for Donald Trump, among other things. You know, so this is a retaliation against those big law firms that Donald Trump couldn't get to take his case because he was radioactive. And now he's even getting some of those law firms to take his case because it's the president of the United States, and they're thinking better of it. And his attacks on DEI and his attacks on the rule of law and how you can, I mean, if you're on the management committee, and I've been on management committees for law firms before, and you're sitting around saying, how do we take a client like a rogue, out of control, unconstitutional president, and how do we defend that to our other clients or to ourselves as a firm and a culture as he attacks and tries to tear down brick by brick the rule of law? And judges are the ones who are going to suffer. And we suffer as an extension, because if the rule of law is compromised because of the attacks on the judiciary and led by Elon Musk and Donald Trump, you know, then we're lost. Then we are lost. That's why we got to continue to call it out here on Legal AF, particularly. We got a great group called Court Accountability Action. All they do 24/7 from when they get, brush their teeth in the morning till they lay their head on their pillow at night is focus on federal courts, corruption at the federal courts, all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. Alex Aronson, Lisa Graves, Mike Sachs. Come on, go to the playlist for Court Accountability Action now and check out their amazing content they do exclusively here on Legal AF. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.